Alright, good day everyone, Steve Briggs here. So today's video will be based on hosting a web server from your PC, your home PC. Now this could be done via two ways. You could go through the feature of WAMP, or you can use the built-in feature which comes with the operating system, which mine will be Windows 7. I will be using the built-in feature with Windows 7. But before we get to that nitty-gritty part, the first thing you need to get a domain name. Now, not many websites out there give you a free domain name. You'll have to pay a fee, a subscription fee, like for a month, 6 months, a year, whatever the case may be. But there's one particular site, noip.com, where you can sign up for that free domain. So as you can see in here in the URL, this is the address. When you go to this website and you click sign up, and put in you create your account, your IP account. You have a username, password, email. This is the host name, and the domain that you will be going up with, what your host name will be attached to, will be this here. This is the free domain that free IP is given out. If you want, you can pay your $20 US for the year and get the enhanced package. But as for just a demonstration, I'll be working with the free. I have an account already and I've signed up. So after you put in all the information here, your hostname, whatever the case may be, you click free sign up. Once this process is completed, you can go back to the home page and you click download. What you will be downloading here now will actually be the dynamic update client. What this does is that it attaches your domain name to your IP address, your public IP address. Now your public IP address will be dynamic. It will be in a dynamic state, meaning that if your router, you turn off your router and you put it back on, you may not get that same IP address. So what this does is that it will automatically attach your domain name to whatever IP address you have assigned publicly to your home router. Okay, so after you download that, you're good to go. We'll go through the installation process and so forth. As a matter of fact, I will do it one time as we are here. So here's my application here, the domain update clients. I'm gonna run the setup, click agree, install, and click finish. Now you will see this come up here. This is the dynamic update client. What you have to do, you have to put in your username, but in my scenario I normally sign in with my my email address, and it's actually good. So signing in here, this is an invalid error for some strange reason. I get that every time I try to sign in the first time, and the second time I try it goes through. But anyways, what we have here now, this is the dynamic update client. Now for this to be fully functional, you're supposed to see 3 green ticks here. To fix this problem, what you have to do, you have to go click edit host. This box will come up, and the host that you created, it will be published here. You click on it and you click save. When you click save, you'll see all 3 of them as are functional. So basically, you see this is actually showing you your public IP address right here. It is showing you that. So the next thing we are going to do now is set up the web server part within the Windows 7. So you click start, go to control panel, programs and features. Click turn on Windows features, on and off, on or off. Let's wait a while. Here we'll open up. Right now we'll be working with the Internet Information Services. As you can see, you can actually do FTP servers and stuff here, but for now we'll be working with this here. So enable this here. This is under the web management tools. Go to the World Wide Web Services, enable common HTTP features, health and diagnostics, and security. Click OK. Now this may take a while, so what I will do, just for saving on video time, I'll just pause my video, and when it's finished I will just resume it. Okay, right. So as you can see here now, well, the installation process finished. What happened is that after it finished, this box, it closed off automatically. So I just open it back to show you quick. Well, the web services and stuff are there. The next thing that we have to do, to click back, we have to go to administrative tools. When you open administrative tools, you will see Internet Information Services Manager. You open that, and when you open that now, you will see your PC here. Let's make this bigger, pull this across. Right, so you're gonna see this here. You click on this triangle here, the drop down, and you'll see the default site. With the default site now, with here now, actually, you click this option, you right click and you click on add website. So you type in a name for the website that you want to put in. Well, for me, I'm using Vision. The path, then that is the content directory. That is where all the files will be, your PHP, your HTML files, everything. So the default directory for this is c:/inetpub/www root. Okay, my bad, I'll get to that just now. Okay, right, so basically this is it here. What they are saying here now is that the host name, that is the name that you created with the no IP website, that is the host name you will be putting in here. So for instance, my own will be infotech3d.ddns.net. What they are saying is that you have to bind an IP address. So my IP address, it will be assigned, this website will be specifically assigned to this IP. Click OK, and that is it there. This is actually set up here. So basically my website is assigned to the server IP address, then will be 192.168.0.8. Now it will be advisable that if you use a static IP here, because if you have a dynamic IP here, what will happen is that when that change, most likely you wouldn't get access to the website. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to test the site locally. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to use my IP address. If you don't know what is your IP address, you click start, type in run. After you click run, type in cmd, or well, yeah, you could have gotten it the shorter way, and just type ipconfig. See, the IP address comes up. Right, this is it right here, IP version 4. All you do, you put it in 192.168.0.8, and you place this in here. So this is the default web service. Now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to run a virtual machine, which is not a Windows based operating system. It will be based on Linux, to test it, to see if it is working in a virtual, like it's come like it is two computers running side by side. So one will be my server and one will be the client. So this here will act as the client, whereas the real operating system here now, which is the Windows, will act as the server. So this here now, in such scenario, when we later on in the video, I'll speak about getting access, getting this from an external source, and I'll explain some of the hindrances and the hiccups I had. Now for some, according to your ISP, which is your internet service provider, you will have smooth operations, but I will explain in detail. So basically this is my virtual operating system here. It is the CentOS version 6.3. I don't know how many of you may have heard of it before. It's a Linux based operating system. So I'm just going to log in. I'm going to make it full screen so you all can see Now this website, this operating system is very is robust. It has a lot of features. I actually did a web server on this type of operating system. It is more based on commands and stuff. So with this now, we enable this the network connection. We go to the Firefox, the web browser. Okay, again, all the problems here. Alright, okay. So I open the web browser. I'm gonna try and access this via access the server via the IP address 68.0.8. Now as you can see, I put in the IP address here, and you can see the connection here. Now we would not get through because one of the problems that causes this is the firewall. If the firewall is not properly configured, you will not get access. So for starters, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna disable the Windows firewall so that sources that are trying to access systems that trying to access the web server will get through with ease. So you go to Control Panel, System and Security, the firewall, turn off Windows firewall. Now you turn off this here, and I turn off this also. Close this off. Right, now we're going back here just to make sure that I am actually connected to the system. What I will do, I will run a ping test, ping the server, which is the Windows operating system. How we go about doing this, we operate in terminal. Terminal is the same as like the command prompt in Windows. So I just type in ping and the IP address of the server, and as you can see, we are pinging. So we have this connectivity 64 bytes, the IMCP packets, the time to live 128 seconds, so forth, and that's it. So we know for a fact that we are connected to the server. So I'm going to try again and put in the IP address 192.168.0.8, and voila. So you see, basically we are getting access to this website. This is the website that we created. Now what I'm gonna do here now, I'm gonna minimize this. I'm gonna close this off. I'm gonna remove the default information that is in that root folder. And where that information is, that is the settings that the website, when we were putting in the content directory, where we had c:/inetpub/www root, that is the folder where we will be putting all the information. So that is in the c:/inetpub/www root. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take these out. I wouldn't delete them, I'll just put them in a folder. I'll just name them backup. Okay, oh my bad. Put them in here, and I have a website that I created from before. It's a project I was doing before. I was last year. I'm gonna put that information inside of here. So you see, it will have all my PHP. I had my documentations and my CSS stuff, pictures and so forth. So what I will do now, I'll go back to my virtual machine, which is my Linux based system. I'll go back into it full screen, and what I will do, I will refresh the page to show you my website. So when I refresh the page, as you can see, this is the website here. Try and get it full screen. Right, so this is the website here, my website. So as you can see, in registration, it will bring up all these stuff. These are the stuff that I created. You have logon pages and so forth. The thing is, now this is a local server. This computers that are on your network, on your subnetted network, or your classful network, basically you will have access to this website. We want now to get access to this website from an external source. Now this is where things may get a little complicated, because your ISP may have firewalls up that may be preventing access to your stuff internally. and they have it so for the reason of hackers and viruses and all these other things. So I'm gonna show you the process. Now I had some problems. So the first thing I just want to clarify is that the routers that I am currently going through two routers to access the internet. I have the router which my ISP provided me, and then I have a Linksys. So my Linksys now is what will give me the wireless connections. That now is connected to the ISP router, that so I'll have two gateways to be going through to get access to the internet. So the first router, which is the Linksys, which is where my computer is connected to, I will have to put in the default IP, the default gateway address to gain access to that router. How do I find that? Type CMD and we go back, put in IP config. So the default gateway here, this is the 192.168.0.1. Now this is the default gateway for my Linksys router. So I put in this here in my web browser, put it in the URL and type enter. Now this is the authentication box that will come up. Now for most people, their password may just be admin or admin12345 by default, whereas with me now, my system, I have set mine because I don't want people coming into my system and make changes. So the first thing we want to do now is, in order to gain access to the website from where we start, from the standpoint, is that we need to forward the port, the packets, through the port 80 to gain access. How do we do that? Via the Linksys, we have you go to applications and gaming, and then you see port forwarding. Now as you can see, I already had this set up because I was doing my testing and so forth. So you could put in your application name. It does not have to be HTTP. You just put in whatever name you feel like. You put in the port number, which is port 80, and the IP address of the system that is hosting the web server, which is this system. You have to know your IP address, and as I said, you put in the command here, the IP config, and you will get the IP address of your system. When you do that, you save it. You will be able now that when people from an external source come, they put in the domain name in the URL. The domain name now is linked to your public IP address, which in turn now will forward that information and the packets and so forth through your router, and from your router it will come into your server, and your server now will send a response which will be published in your web page and so forth. The next part now to my video is where I will demonstrate the router that I have to go through, my ISP router. My ISP router, it is not so old, but they have a lot of security features on it. Now I've tried to contact my ISP to have some of these features disabled so I can demonstrate the ability to set up this home web server, but my attempts were futile because the lines were consistently just ringing off, and I haven't gotten to speak with a technician. But I have a fair understanding of how the router for this works. In order to set up port forwarding, you have to go to the network, this here NAT, and then you go to virtual servers, not port triggering, not the DMZ host, because if you use DMZ host, what you are saying is that this is a demilitarized host, meaning that you will just put this host, your computer will just be on the internet with no security features, nothing. So anybody, hackers out there, will just see that and it could come into your system. So the port forwarding, you go to virtual servers. This type of router, you create port forwarding through virtual servers. You click add. You put in your external the port start, and then you put the port in. No, not 80. All right. It will automatically come across here. Oh well, I have to do it over because I have to be working a custom server. My bad. So port 80, and what you have to do now, you have to put in the server address. What will be the server address? In my scenario, my server address will be the IP address assigned to my Linksys router. How do I find that? Click status. and I will see it here, the IP address, which is 192.168.0, and all I have to do is just put that in here. Now first, how did this router, how it's set up, if I save it here now, it will change because this port is already open by default, the port 80. So if I assign this now, it will default put this port, reserve this port for another application, which is whatever name I put here. If I name it Vision, it will assign this port specifically for Vision, and the default port 80 will move to port 8080. Let me show you. If I click save, you will see since port 80 is in use, the DSL router or web server port will be moved to 8080. So my default port now will be 8080. But this also here now will be the port that will forward the information from the external part of the internet, which is people who may be trying to log on to my web server. They now will have to go through, they will come through this port. Now the problem with that, now I will show you infotech 3d.ddns.net. when I click on this, I will have to clear this off, close this off, close off this. I will clear all my history so I wouldn't have any cache or anything there, so that when I open something it will automatically just pop up. Right, so this is cleared. So I'm going to access this now. So you see we're getting an error here. Why? Some feature in here is wrong. So I'll just have to run this one more time. Just have to check, do quick checks to make sure everything is functioning. And I think I understand what is happening here now. The problem that I'm encountering here is because of the port forwarding. By default, the router, that feature that I enabled, the router, it is not picking up it is not forwarding properly, which is in the virtual server. So I'll have to remove this. Right, and when I go now to this feature here now, I will clear the history. When I click on this, you will get a pop-up box. Now basically this is what has been happening. But for the other users who may be with a different ISP, once it is you put in the DNS, the domain name here, you will go straight to your web server. So basically I am just demonstrating what with my ISP and the router and these settings and configurations. But with people who may be using with the ISPs like Flow, you will with the router settings that they have, you will go straight to your web server and you wouldn't have no problem. So basically I hope this video, it kind of help to show the certain, it is easy. The setting up the web server is easy because you can actually go through, you can do less, and you can go through the process of using the WAMP server. But I choose to use the default Windows to kind of give people an understanding of what their operating system could do. So basically, as you see what is happening here, this is the box that will come up. But for persons who go through the steps, the port forwarding and so forth, accessibility will be at ease. Okay everyone, thanks for watching.